Thank you all for joining. Mike Wood here to discuss eBay fees and stores explained. And what I'm going to explain here is what the fees are with eBay, what an eBay store is, and when you want to get an eBay store. So that's basically what we're looking at here. So let's jump into this and help you understand some of those details. So first, what I'd like to do is just give an overview of the basic fees for most categories on eBay. So if we look at this, we can see this chart here. This table has category column, the insertion fee, and the final value fee. So the category is where it's the category where you're posting your listing. So different categories have different fee structures. The majority of the categories, which include this section here. So notice they state here standard fees for most categories, including music, records, eBay Motors, parts and accessories, and eBay Motors, automotive tools and supplies for vehicles, blah blah blah. Most categories, including music, records, and so on, is going to be 35 cents per listing after the first the first 200 listings. So this is a recent change on eBay. For the longest time, they've offered everybody the first 50 listings free. Now they are doing the first 200 listings free, and then after that, they charge you 35 cents per listing to put additional listings up on eBay. Now, realistically, that is not a big cost. That's not a big fee. If we're going to build our business, we need to recognize that their platform that they are giving us and allowing us to use, it needs to be paid for. So 35 cents per listing, that shouldn't be hard. You should easily be able to make some good money with 200 listings. If you've got 200 listings in there, chances are good you've probably made more than $35 in profits, and $35 is enough to pay for another 100 listings to get you up to 300 listings. If we just go with that fee. Now I'm going to show you how to make that even cheaper actually as you grow your eBay business. So just keep that in mind. The first 200 are free. Final value fee. After we sell an item, that's the final value fee. Final value meaning whatever the final value is of the item. When you sell an item, this is the total money that you are receiving. That includes shipping and item price. So it doesn't matter whether you do free shipping or you charge shipping, the total price together, that's the final value, and we pay a 10% fee on final value for most items, most categories. Notice down here, books, DVDs and movies and music, except records category, that is 12%. So it's a little bit more, not a huge difference. But with those categories, the media categories, it's a little bit higher on the percentage, but it still falls under this first 200 listings are free, 35 cents per listing after that. Okay. Select business and industrial categories, which honestly most of the time you're not going to be doing that. You're not going to be selling heavy equipment, commercial printing presses, food trucks, and trailers and carts. Those are different. They have an insertion fee of $20. There is no free listings with those categories, but then only 2% on the final value fee. Musical instruments and gear. Now this is interesting right here. What should we sell on eBay? Well, gosh, this looks like the category. So if you're looking for a niche on eBay and you're thinking about finding the best possible niche, well, musical instruments and gear, guitars and basses and musical instruments and stuff, free to list. There's no insertion fee on those things. Now, I don't know why that is. I don't know why they determined that policy, but those are free always. And the final value fee is only 3.5%. So it looks like eBay wants to promote music in this world, and I see that as a good thing. So keep that in mind when you're looking at yard sales and thrift stores and estate sales. If you're seeing guitars and drums and string instruments and bass and all these different musical instruments and gear, well, gosh, that may be something that we could list with no cost and very low final value fees. So that's something to think about. And then this section down here is another interesting one that I just saw today as I was looking at this. Select clothing, shoes, and accessories categories, and they show specifics here. So basically they're just talking about athletic shoes. The athletic shoes categories for both men and women. If the price is over $100, the start price, so that's like an auction price, is over $100, and that notice that little double asterisk there. Starting price is the starting price, auction style listings, or buy it now price, so either one, fixed price listings of your listing, and doesn't include shipping, handling, taxes, or fees. So if we are listing athletic shoes for $100 or more, then it's free to list those. Not only that, but no final value fee if the selling price is also $100 or more. 10% fee if the selling price is less than $100. So if you put it up with a start price of $101, but you offer best offer and accept an offer of $99, then you're going to be paying $9.90 final value fee. Okay. So I hope that's clear. Those are the basic fees. So back up here at the start, that means if you list your first 200 listings free at no charge, the next one you list is 35 cents. We list 10 more of those, or 9 more, so list 10 items, we're at $3.50 in fees for 210 items. If we list 220, then we're paying $7 in fees. So for 20 more items, we're paying $7. Okay, so yeah, those fees add up, and they definitely add up as you continue growing the business. But don't let that delay growing the business, especially where you have likely made money. If you're doing this right and you're listing first with items you can get your hands on, then you've already made enough money to pay for some additional listing fees. Okay, but there's another way to make that better. So 220 would cost us $7. However, they have something called a store, an eBay store. I use eBay stores as a way to save money. Now, you can go in and make it pretty and create banners and graphics and categories if you want to in your eBay store. I don't do that on my eBay stores. I simply use the eBay store as a way to save on fees, because a starter store is $4.95 a month if you do it on a yearly contract, which I would suggest you always do. If we do it without the yearly contract, just a month at a time, it's almost double, $8 a month. But the starter store, what does that give you? Well, that lets you list up to 250 items total. So instead of just the 200 free, now you have 250 for $5 a month. So instead of paying 35 cents, where 20 more items, 220 for example, would cost you $7, we pay $5 and we can do 50 more on top of the 200 for a total of 250 listings. Okay. You can also do some auction listings in the collectibles and fashion categories only. If they're not in these categories, then any auction listings will cost you 30 cents. Now notice that fee drop from 35 cents per listing after the free 200 down to 30 cents per listing. Okay, so now we're going to get our calculator out. All right, so if we bring out our calculator here and look at this and say, okay, 30 listings, well, when does it make sense for me to upgrade to this basic store? The basic store allows us to do 350 listings per month within this $22 subscription fee. Okay, so basically, let's just take the difference. If we round that up, $22 subtract $5, we've got $17. So how many listings equal that at 30 cents per listing? So we'll divide that by 30 cents. So 56 listings So when we do 306, 307 listings, basically, 307 listings on the starter store, we are now paying the same amount as the basic store. Okay? And so when you hit that number, that's the magic number, 306, well, then it makes sense to upgrade to the basic store. Now, when do we move from there up to here? Well, we get 350 listings on the basic store within that subscription, and then 25 cents per listing. So now we've got to look at this and say, okay, how many times, listing at 25 cents does it add up to what, an additional $38 essentially, right? So if we take rounding again, $60, subtract our 22, so $38 divided by 30 cents, 126 listings. So add that 126, we're just going to round that up to 127 to our 350 that we get. When we're up to 477 listings on a basic store, then it makes sense to go ahead and upgrade to the premium store. Okay? Now, this is where the savings really kick in, because as we look at this, so this store, we would start paying that $60 when we have 477 items listed. Okay? And then we're only paying 10 cents per listing after that for fixed price listings. And we can list up to 1,000 of them before we run into that 10 cents. So how many listings do we need before we get to the 300 mark? And the difference between that, it's around 4,000, I believe, is what we're looking at. So if we take 300 and subtract our 60, we got 240 divided by 30 cents. So, is that right? 800, not 30 cents, that's right. 3 times that, so it's close to 3,000. All right, let's do this right. So we do 300, subtract our 60 for the existing store level that we're on, and divide that by 10 cents. 2,400, right? So 2,400 more items. So 2,400 items, work that backward, times 10 cents equals $240 plus $60 equals our 300. Okay, so 2,400 items. So you got to be doing 3,400. That's where that number came in. We're close to 4,000. 3,400 items on the premium level before it makes sense to upgrade to an anchor store, where at that point it's just ridiculous. You can, this is something that these 2 levels of stores you're only going to be doing generally when you either have a lot of employees listing for you, or you are working with a tool to help you with the Dropship, and I'll link, give you a link to such a tool in the description of this video. So anyway, that should help you understand what eBay fees are, and explain the stores there, so you can see when it makes sense to go to the different levels of stores. So the starter store is something that you want to do right after you get past that free 200 listings and you're starting to incur fees before you get to 220, or right after you do 220 or equal to 220. That's where you'd want to upgrade. Now, something else I'll tell you here. When you're doing the store, if you don't have a store, you do the 200 listings, okay? and let's say your billing cycle ends on the 20th of the month, and on the 19th, you list number 220 or 221 or whatever it is. Let's say you list number 225 and you go over a little bit. And so you've got those fees built up. If you upgrade to the basic store, they're going to upgrade you on that day to have the $22 fee, but their computer still has those charges from the per listing fees of 30 cents per listing in your invoice. If you contact eBay, if you go in and go through the contact us until you get through to actually get a hold of, have somebody call you and get a hold of someone, then you can explain to them, hey, I just upgraded to an eBay store. I'm going to be using the eBay store subscriptions from now on with my business. Is it possible to prorate my bill for this month, to prorate my invoice? And they will do that for you. I've never seen them deny that or heard of them denying that. They'll go in and say, yeah, sure, we can do that, and they'll just take off those fees. So if you had $20 in fees, they'll remove those, and you'll only have to pay the $22 monthly fee for the store. Okay? So hope that clarifies and explains eBay fees and when it makes sense to upgrade to an eBay store and why you would do that. I don't see any questions in here, so I'm assuming that that's all clear and nobody has questions about any of this. So I thank you all for joining, and I hope to see you on the next one.